Hello friends, welcome back. Today's topic is rigid pavement. The pavements which possess flexure strength are called as rigid pavements. The rigid pavements are generally made of Portland cement concrete and therefore it is called as CC pavements, and plain cement concrete pavement slab made of specified strength characteristics are laid without reinforcement, and most common material used for the design and construction of rigid pavement is high quality plain cement concrete meant for the pavement and generally called as pavement quality concrete PQC. The CC pavement slab made of PQC are generally expected to sustain up to a flexure strength of 45 kg per centimeter square, and the rigid or CC pavements are designed and constructed for a design life of 30 years. Where rigid pavements are needed: the area where there is a heavy rainfall or the soil condition is poor, or if the drainage condition is poor, in such a cases the construction of rigid pavement is preferred. And in extreme climatic conditions and combination of some of the conditions which may lead to development of cracks in pavement, in such a cases construction of rigid pavement is preferred. Here, in this figure, the components of flexible pavement and the components of rigid pavements are shown. Usually, the flexible pavements is a layer system which is consisting of 4 layers, and in case of rigid pavement which consists of 2 or 3 layers. Okay, here the lowermost layer of the flexible pavement is called as natural formation or subgrade. Here above that there is a subbase layer, base course, and topmost layer is called as the surface course. And in case of rigid pavement, the topmost layer is called as surface course, which is made up of cement concrete, and the middle layer is called as subbase course, and lowermost is called as subgrade or natural formation. The subgrade soil of rigid pavement consists of natural or selected soil from identified locations fulfilling specified requirements, and should contain required density and other engineering properties, and subgrade ultimately support all the layers of rigid pavement like subbase course and surface course, and also traffic loads. The compressive stress transmitting to the subgrade are very low, and no need to consider allowable vertical strains. Subgrade. The strength of soil subgrade is generally evaluated by adopting a plate load test and relatively using a large diameter plate, that is 75 cm diameter plate. The load supporting capacity of the subgrade is assessed in terms of modulus of subgrade reaction, which is denoted by K. And the modulus of subgrade reaction K may be defined as pressure sustained per unit deformation of subgrade at specified deformation or penetration using specified plate size. The standard plate size used for plate load test is 75 cm, but for highway pavements the plate of 30 cm can also be used. The granular subbase course has to serve an effective drainage layer of the pavement and also has to sustain lower magnitude of compressive stresses than the base course. Therefore, aggregates of lower strength having good permeability may be used in the GSP layer. Crushed stone aggregates are often used in GSP layer of important highways, as this material has high permeability and serve as effective drainage layer. Coarse graded aggregates with low percentage of fines, less than 5% finer than 75 micron size, will serve as good drainage layer. Drainage layer. The GSB drainage layer is laid above the subgrade, covering the full width of formation between the longitudinal drains. The part of rainwater which may enter into the pavement layers through the shoulders or the pavement surface will get drained out quickly into the longitudinal or roadside drains. Thus, it provides to retain the subgrade and other pavement layers in relatively dry condition, and which is having the benefits like increase in service life and improved performance of CC pavements, prevention of early failure of rigid pavements due to pumping and blowing, protection of the subgrade against frost action and in frost susceptible areas. Base course. Provision of lean concrete, subbase or base course layer. The CC pavement slab has been found to be several advantages such as providing a firm uniform structural support, high resistance to deformation and prevention of failures due to pumping. Dry lean concrete is the most common type of cement treated base course laid over the drainage layer. The recommended thickness of dry lean concrete base course on important highways is 150 mm. A minimum thickness of 100 mm may be adopted in case of less importance road with less traffic. The IRC recommends that dry lean concrete base shall extend 500 mm beyond the edges of CC pavement in order to facilitate further construction operations and to provide good support to the CC pavement slab. Components of CC pavements. Here, the lowermost layer of CC pavement is called as the prepared subgrade or natural formation. Above that, there is a drainage layer and next to that, there is a sub-base course or it is also called as a dry lean concrete TLC, and topmost layer is of cement concrete called as pavement quality concrete. PQC pavement slab. The materials required for the construction of CC pavements may be divided into two parts. One is selection of basic component materials and another one is mix design and production of pavement quality concrete, that is PQC. So mix required to construct the pavement. An M40 cement concrete mix with a minimum flexure strength of 45 kg per centimeter square is to be used. The CC pavement slab should withstand the flexure stress caused by heavy moving traffic loads and warping effect due to temperature. High quality cement concrete mix with high flexure strength is used for the construction of PQC slab, and using steel reinforcement is not to bear flexure or tensile stresses developed. Joints form an important components of CC pavement and they have important functions to perform. Different types of joints are provided in CC pavement in order to relieve part of the stresses developed due to the temperature variations in the slab. The joints in CC pavements are broadly classified as longitudinal joint and transverse joint. Types of joints in CC pavement. The longitudinal joints which are provided parallel to the traffic flow and the transverse joints which are provided perpendicular to the traffic flow. And the transverse joints are further subdivided as expansion joint, contraction joint and construction joints. The layout of different types of joints in CC pavements are shown in next figure. This figure shows basic components of concrete pavement. So, the different joints are shown here: longitudinal joint, transverse joint and tie bars, and this is the subgrade base, and here dowel bars, concrete material, and this one is thickness design, so which is designed based on IFC code book 58. Longitudinal joint. Shrinkage cracks generally develop in CC pavement slabs supported on the base course during the initial period of curing, when the length or width of the slab exceeds 4.5 to 5 meter. Therefore, in pavement of width more than 4.5, there is a need to provide a longitudinal joint. However, as the lane width of the highway pavement are generally 3.5 to 3.75 meter, the longitudinal joints of CC pavements are provided between each traffic lane. The need of these longitudinal joints is to prevent the shrinkage cracks happening during the initial period of curing. And tie bars are provided along the longitudinal joints in order to prevent opening up of the longitudinal joints in due course. And these tie bars of specified diameter and length are embedded at the specified spacing at the mid depth of the pavement slab. So, functions of longitudinal joint. The contraction joints and prevent development of additional shrinkage cracks in the longitudinal direction, and warping joints and relieve part of warping stresses, and lane markings in highway with 2 or more lanes. Transverse joints. The transverse joints are subdivided into 3 categories based on their purpose. Those are contraction joint, expansion joint and construction joint. So contraction joint, as it is mentioned, shrinkage cracks develop in CC pavement slab at certain intervals. Therefore, contraction joints are formed by cutting grooves of width not less than 3 mm and depth up to 25 to 30% of pavement thickness, so that defined shrinkage cracks is formed below each groove at the weakened section. During the initial period of curing of pavement, these dummy grooves type construction joint are formed in transverse direction of CC pavement slab at about 4 to 5 meter or even lesser interval, so that shrinkage cracks develop along these predetermined sections only. Anyhow, shrinkage cracks develop along these predetermined sections only. In order to prevent widening of these fine shrinkage cracks, steel reinforcement may be provided across the contraction joint. If no reinforcement provided across the contraction joint, such a pavement is called as plain jointed concrete pavement, and closely spaced contraction joints help to relieve part of warping stress developed. So next is expansion joint. So during the hot season of the year, the CC pavement slab expand due to overall increase in temperature of the pavement. Similarly, during cold season, they contract. Therefore, in order to accommodate the variation in length of CC slab, expansion joints are provided in transverse direction of CC pavement and fairly long intervals. After a number of contraction joints, the expansion joints are formed as through joints across the full depth of the slab with about 20 mm gap between the two slabs. And the CC pavement slab is separated across the expansion joint. Therefore, there is no load transfer across the expansion joint. Weak cross section of CC pavement, and in order to strengthen these sections and provide load transfer across the expansion joint, suitable dowel bars are designed and installed during the construction. Construction joints. During the construction of CC pavements, when the concreting work is stopped at the end of the day or concrete paving is suspended due to any other reasons, a construction joint is formed. As the construction joints are formed as through joints across the full depth of the slab, it is necessary to provide suitably designed dowel bars for load transfer. As far as possible, it is advisable to merge the construction joint with the expansion joint by suspending the concreting work at the nearest expansion joint, so that the dowel bar system will be available for the load transfer. If this is not possible, it is suggested that the construction joint may be considered with the nearest construction joint, and appropriate load transfer dowel bars are to be introduced. Warping joints. So, these are provided to relieve the stresses induced due to warping, known as hinged joint. So, warping stress in concrete slab when curing is restrained at different times. So, during daytime, the temperature at topmost slab will be more when compared to the bottom of the slab. So, due to that, there will be a tensile stress at top of the slab, and there is a compressive stress at the bottom of the slab. So, due to that, there will be warping down condition. And during night time, so the heat will be transferred to the lower slab, and top of the slab will be colder when compared to the bottom of the slab. Means there will be a compressive stress at top portion and there will be a tensile stress at bottom portion. So, due to this, there will be a warping up condition of the slab, and these warping joints are rarely provided. Thank you.